Hi everyone, this is Grandmaster Ben Finegold. If I fall asleep during the video, can somebody wake me up somehow? Oh, I had a private lesson scheduled for 7 p.m. tonight, and they canceled. So maybe I shouldn't be an atheist. I'm so exhausted from my game. Also, I gave you some wrong information earlier. I thought Maurice and Yasser and possibly Jennifer were doing commentary, but they're not. So there's no commentary. Ben Simon is making random videos that last a few minutes. And he didn't make one of me today because I won. So no video of me, but okay, I make my videos. Yeah, nobody ever said Ben Simon had a PhD in not being an idiot. Okay, so I won my game, but I was out of prep on move one, so it's good I didn't prep too much. All right, I played knight f3. Now Irina normally plays either d5 or c5, but she played knight f6. So what I wanted to do, I can't do anymore. I don't want to say what I wanted to do. Maybe I'll tell you after the tournament. Okay, so we just played stuff that I normally play, sort of. And she played the Ragozin with bishop b4, which I faced maybe like twice in my life. Okay, and yeah, I actually looked at a lot of her games, and I wasn't going to play white in this position, but I saw that she plays this. She plays a lot of stuff. So I want to do something simple that wasn't prep and not complicated, and she would know it as well. I was surprised that in this position here, bishop h4 is actually more common than bishop f6, although super GMs play them both. Bishop h4 can get tricky because they can start playing aggressively with a g5 and knight e4, c5. So I knew this was a main line. And I think a common move here is to play queen a4 check and then knight c6. I just didn't want to do that because I think she already had a game in that line. So I played e3, and I think she's on her own here because nobody plays e3. Queen b3 is a common move, but I waited a move. And she castled, and I played queen b3. So without the moves e3 and castles, if I play queen b3 in this position, then c5 is a common move. And then this is a common line. There's a lot of Grandmaster games. But I think after e3 castles, c5 probably isn't as good because d5 is hanging. So I don't know if she can play c5 here. It's interesting. She play queen d6, which makes sense. So some of you would blunder your queen, and then I'd be down a queen because my knight's pinned. Hopefully not a lot of you. Okay, so I played bishop to d3. She played c6, and I castled. It's normal position. Computer says equal. Knight d7. And now I played a novelty. To me, this move makes perfect sense, but nobody's played it. I played rook a d1. So there's two ideas in this pawn structure. One is to play b4, b5 with white, which seems very hard to do. And the other is to play e4. And e4 actually makes a lot of sense because the queen's on d6. E4 is actually a move here. It's been played. And the idea is I want to play e5 in this position and then take back, but I can't because she plays knight takes e5. And then after takes with the bishop, and I'm down like 1,000 pawns. So you just have to take the bishop back on c3, and this is, some kind of equal position. Okay, so I played rook a d1 because when all this stuff happens, I want my rook on d1. Okay, she played bishop a5 because the bishop's attacked on b4, and now it's not. And she wants to play bishop c7 anyway, so it's a normal move. And I could play e4 here. I think that's the computer choice. I also thought about playing knight e2 to g3 to get that kind of position. But anyway, I decided to play h3 because in one of the lines where I thought black would play knight f6 and I would play knight e5, she could play knight g4. And I can't play f4 defending my knight because my e-pawn's hanging. So if I play h3, she can't play knight g4. And my rook's on d1, so at some point bishop g4 makes sense. So, okay, I got rid of all that nonsense. Okay, and if she plays knight f6, I'll play knight e5. So she played rook e8. And now I made a really unusual move because my opponent wants to play bishop c7, and I attacked her bishop. Because I wanted to play e4, and I wanted to play rook fe1, but I didn't like that because of her bishop on a5. So I was like, all right, get your bishop off of a5. And then when she moved it, I could play e4 here, and I almost did. And I decided to play rook fe1 because I wasn't sure what she would do. It's like a waiting move, but now e4 makes more sense because my rook's on e1. And again, computer says everything's equal, of course. And I was way behind on the clock because I'm slow and old. And Irina's a huge think here. I was still behind on the clock, but she was catching up. And she decided to let me play knight e5. She played knight f6, natural move, stopping e4. Well, it doesn't stop e4. I almost played e4 here, actually. Okay, knight e5. And she played queen e7. The computer, which I don't understand, but I'm not a computer, wants to sack the exchange, which I thought was possible. And I can play f4 here. I think I would. And it says black's better. I'm up the exchange, and my opponent hasn't moved any of her pieces yet. So I don't know. I'm always going to take white here. I understand black has the dark squares, but I guess I don't understand because it says black's better. Okay, so I think only like a certain kind of player would play rook takes e5 or a computer. Okay, so she played queen e7, threatening bishop takes e5. So I played f4. She played knight d7. And I want to attack her king, but I have a lot of pieces on the queen side, so we got to play queen c2 and get some pieces back. I showed this game to Alejandro and Irene Sukandar because they were looking at some stuff. And Alejandro was surprised she played knight takes e5, but I assume that's why she played knight d7. So, okay, I took back. She played bishop e6. And now, I think I should play knight e2 to f4 right away. Because basically, black's only idea is to play f6. And this is actually funny. The reason she doesn't play f6 here, because then her bishop could potentially just be killing me, is after the trade, there's knight takes d5. And when she plays bishop e6, I can't play knight takes d5 because her bishop's defending. Okay, and the computer just takes with a pawn. Wow. And says that this is equal or good for black. Okay, I mean, I understand the queen and bishop are going to make a battery here, but okay, these are suspicious. So I wasn't seriously considering that, but that's the engine thinks f6 is okay. Okay, bishop e6. Now, if it was her move, she would play f6 for sure, because she'd take with the queen. Okay, and the computer wants me to play this immediately, and the idea is if f6 ever happens, I'm really quick with my knight here, attacking her and mating and all that. Okay, I played rook f1, which, again, if she plays f6, she can't take with the queen. She played c5, which is not a good move, I don't think, because it doesn't really help her with the other stuff. Basically, I'm going to build up on the king's side by putting my rooks, my queen, put my knight on f4, line up my queen and bishop like she did later, and play for mate. So she needs to get this bishop active on c7, and I don't think c5 does it quick enough. Okay, queen f2 gets my queen over to the king's side. It allows my bishop to go back to b1, so I can set up a battery. And it defends my d-pawn some extra in case like bishop b6 later. Okay, rook f8, she wants to play f6. Knight e2, I thought I stopped f6. I was wrong. f6. And actually, the engine wants her to preface that with takes f6. And actually, I agree. Because in the game, I actually just took the pawn on c5 later, so that makes sense. And the computer says everything's equal, of course. Okay, f6, knight f4, and the idea is, obviously I'm threatening knight g6. Never play f6. And if she takes, I have knight g6, and if she takes my queen, I take her queen with check, and then I take the rook, and I'm up the exchange. Okay, so she played bishop f7, which is forced. And this idea, and we're in time trouble now, but mainly me, but she caught up in a second. The idea is if e6 and knight g6 winning the exchange, then she plays queen d6 threatening mate, and finally this diagonal's open. So I'm just lost. Okay, so I thought about a lot of stuff here, and the computer also thinks about a lot of it. I thought about playing queen h4. I thought about taking on f6. I thought about queen c2. I think the computer likes queen h4, but it says it's equal. I took on f6, and now it doesn't want me to take on c5, which I did. What does it want me to do? I forgot. I don't know. When I took on f6, I already have like 5 minutes left. I decided I might as well just win a pawn. That way, if I get mated, I'm a pawn up. And she played queen e5, which is best, so my knight can't move because queen h2 is mate. And then I made the best move, which was fortunate because I didn't have much time on my clock. So she's lining her queen and bishop up, and then I did the same thing. And after the game, Yasser Sarawan, who's the resident right now, he was asking what happens on g5, and I was like, queen c2. And he says, well, can't she stop mate? I'm like, not really. She can play queen e4, but that's terrible. And he didn't mean that. He's trying to mate me. So it's funny that we were both mating each other on the same diagonal, and we're in time trouble. So here Irina made a mistake. She should have played rook fe8 instead of rook ae8, and that way her other rook can go to d8. And again, it's about equal, even though I'm a pawn up. And after rook ae8, I made the same mistake. I want to defend my pawn so she doesn't play queen takes pawn. And I was like, okay, which rook goes to e1? And I kept changing my mind, but I didn't have time on my clock. So I was like, well, I'm not going to figure out anyway, so I'll just play one of them. And I actually went back and forth like twice. And I made the wrong one, of course. And the reason my move is wrong is for tactical reasons. I didn't see the tactics. So I should play rook fe1. It's safer. The reason this doesn't work is black has the move d4, which I didn't calculate correctly. I thought if she played d4, of course, if I play the other rook to e1, and keep this rook on d1, then I don't have to worry about that. After d4, I thought I had two good moves, but it turns out I'm wrong. First of all, this move loses a piece, as Alejandro's like, what about d4? And then I was like here, and he was like this, and then here, and then here, then here, takes, and then you just take with the bishop, and then your rook is defending the bishop, which is funny. I mean, it's funny for the black pieces. So I can't take the d pawn, and I thought I could take the d pawn, and I thought I could play queen c2 because it threatens mate. But now my queen's not on the d pawn, so it just stops mate, and then I got some issues. So the engine, of course, still says it's equal. Plays rook f3, defending everything, and then after it takes, it makes some random move. I don't know. I forgot what it did, but it let black play like e2. And all right, so this position doesn't make any sense. Material's equal. We're both trying to mate each other. They both have no time on our clock. So we both made mistakes here. Rook e8 is a mistake. She should play the other rook. Rook e1's a mistake. I should play the other rook, and now she should play d4. Now, when I played rook e1, I had 2 minutes, and she had 7 minutes and change. And we have 30-second increment, and we have to get to move 40, and it was like move 27 or 6, I don't know. And she thought until she had less time than me here. She thought over 5 minutes and made a move I didn't think of at all. Very interesting move, rook e6. Obviously, I can't take the rook because queen h2 mate. And the idea behind rook e6, well, I figured she wants to play rook f6. But I saw the idea. When I play queen c2 threatening mate, she actually should play g6 here, but she played the move I expected, bishop g6. That's why the rook is on e6. I can't take with the queen. And I can't take with the knight because I get mated. And I saw that if she played bishop g6, I could play queen c3 and trade everything and not get mated. And actually, I was correct for once. The correct variation is this. Computer actually was taking this knight and playing bishop e4, but okay, this is, let's see, wait, what did I analyze? Takes. I'm sorry, yeah, I apologize. Takes. Yeah, this is the one that I was looking at during the game when I played queen c3. Takes. And I figure she has to play rook c4. I don't know. I figured this was a draw, but I have an extra pawn. I have 5 pawns and she has 4, so I can't lose. And then maybe I win, but probably draw. But I'd rather have white. And I was like, well, this is good. I won't get mated. I won't lose. I might win. Good. Okay. And yeah, computers like giving me 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. They're probably a draw, but okay. Basically, I was right. I won't lose, and I can make a lot of quick moves and not lose on time either. Okay, and here she blundered, but I was really scared because she made a move I didn't look at. She played bishop takes b1, which is a really bad move, but when she played it, I was like, God, I didn't even look at that move. So I was like really afraid. Okay, so I took the queen. She has to take with the rook because her rook's hanging. Okay, and I took, and the problem is I'm a pawn up, and if she takes on e3, I take on d5, which coincidentally forks her rook and bishop. What does the computer do here? Plays like rook ef5 and says white has a big advantage, close to winning. And she made a bad move, g5, and I played knight h5. Knight h5 is a very important move because I want to get this knight f6 check and put pressure on this pawn. And after knight h5, she's just down a pawn. And we both have very little time on our clock, and I blunder a lot in time trouble, so it doesn't have to be that worried against me. And then she played a couple of moves where she just had seconds left, and she got her 30 seconds. She played rook d8, which is a bad move. And now I have rook f6, which is very strong because I'm putting a lot of pressure here. And my move is also good. I like to activate all my pieces, and I wasn't sure if I want my knight on f6 or my rook on f6. I played rook d1. Computer says that's almost as good as rook f6. And now she blundered. Yeah, she's just making moves with seconds left, and I actually have more time than her now. I don't envy her here. She's down a pawn, and my knight has the f6 square. My rook has f6. Her bishop on c7 can't move. Her d-pawn's weak. So I don't really blame her for blundering. It's hard to find a move here, really. Okay, if she had an hour, she'd play a good move, but she just blundered with rook e3, so I checked and played knight e5, and that's it. I'm forking her pieces. She played one more move, and I can play rook takes f4 and also win. The main idea is if she takes, I take, defending my rook. I'm piece up. So she would have to play rook takes d5, and I saw that this was winning too. So I'm up 2 pawns on the queen side, but I preferred the way I played, which is correct. I took the rook, take a rook. And if she takes back with check, I just move my king, and she's down the exchange in a pawn. So she can't even win her pawn back either, because I think I was going to go to h2, but I might go to h1. Well, her rook's attacked. If she moves her rook, I play rook d7 check, which is horrible. And if she trades rooks with the idea of taking a pawn, I check and take her b pawn. So yeah, after knight takes e3, even though we didn't have a lot of time on our clock, I had about 2 minutes, so in 30-second increment, so she resigned here. So there were a lot of mistakes and time trouble, as you would expect, and it was a really exciting day. I want to apologize, there's no live commentary. I thought they'd have Yasser and Maurice and Jen, but there's just Ben, Simon, and me. So if you feel sorry for me, donate. There were a lot of decisive games today. I think there were like 7 decisive games out of the 10. They were really interesting games. Sam Shanklin lost with white, and the guy who just won Aeroflot, which had like 5 billion GMs, or maybe 6 billion, and he gets to play in Dortmund this year. That's his prize. His name is Fedoseev, Russian Grandmaster. He lost too. So the tournament's tough. Alejandro won a nice game against Akshat Chandra, and there were just a lot of decisive games. The last game to finish was Robert Hess's game with Rambaldani. He's a Italian GM who goes to St. Louis University. They drew in like 85 moves and a queen and pawn ending. And that game was over 5 hours. So there was a lot of really exciting, interesting chess this round. Tomorrow, I have black against Ali Morandi. I played him last tournament. I played a French defense, and I was lucky to draw. He drew his first game. Who did he play? He played, I actually can't say his name either, like Beres Scholpeltz. I've never seen him before. First name's Andre. He's the highest rated player in our group, and he drew with Ali first round. And so I alternate colors for the most part, but I get 2 whites in a row at some point, because, why not? Okay, so perfect score. I still haven't beaten any men at this tournament. My last 3 GM tournaments here, I haven't beaten a man. I've had 3 wins against women, and all 3 players are lower rated than me. So I can't beat high-rated players, I can't beat men, I can't beat anybody. But I have 8 more rounds to go, so I have a chance to beat somebody else. Although, 2 tournaments ago, I beat Tatev in the first round, and that was it. I didn't win any more games. Also, being more correct than he wanted to be, after MVL won his first 2 rounds of the Grand Prix, he then sent a tweet saying, "That's a nice start. However, in the last Grand Prix, I also won at the beginning, and then in my next 32 games, I only won once." And after he tweeted that, he didn't win any more games. He had 7 draws. So I guess you shouldn't say you're not going to win anymore. You might not. So, yay, I'm going to win more. All right. I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold. I'm going to take a nap because that game was hard. Chess is hard. Watching other games was hard. It's a tough round. And hopefully I'll have good news for you guys tomorrow. USChessChamps.com to watch the games live. You can also watch on Chess24, Chess Bomb. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry, only 2 videos today. Donate, donate, donate. Bye.